Hi friends, happy Tuesday, Wednesday. What day is it? Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. I am setting my computer up below me so that I can look at your questions and do a Facebook Live at the same time. So as you come on, tag your team, tag your teammates. I always tell my team, tag your teammates when you come on. And let's see if I can as well. So I'm going to tag Chelsea and Chris and let them know that I'm on here. Hello! How are you guys? Thank you so much for being patient. I just realized, I was getting ready to do this and I'm like, I need a bevy. I know today's Wednesday. I'm like, what day is it? What year is it? What's happening? Hi, Joan. How are you? So let me tell you about this beautiful little concoction right here. This is a pomegranate bevy mixed with a packet of raspberry vitamin C with a teeny tiny little bit of Energize in it. And then you take your frother and you mix it up. And there you go. Perfect little afternoon drink. So, okay. So you're going to see me. Also, I had to find my light, which it's not great because my daughter is upstairs filming something. You want to hear the most 2020 thing ever? This is the most 2020 thing ever. I'm about to blow your mind with the most 2020 thing ever. My daughter, what's going on with my hair too? I just worked out, showered, did all things. Lighting's not great. So my daughter, who is a musical theater major, was in school in New York City, of course, came home now and is trying to get back to the city. But in the meantime, there's not a ton of opportunities for musical theater majors right now. However, there are online. And my daughter right now has been cast as a lead in a Zoom musical. Welcome to 2020. She's a lead in a Zoom musical. So she's upstairs in her bedroom filming some of her parts that they film and then they're editing it all together. And I'm not really sure how it's all going to work out. But she stole my light. So my big light that makes me look, because girl's not 20 anymore. Girl needs light. And she stole my light. And so I came down here and I was already running late because I had to go eat my bevy and then I didn't have my light. And now I'm like, okay, so here we are. But right down here below me is my laptop. Wow, everything's going crazy. Is my laptop with your questions on it. Because I couldn't do my Facebook Live on my phone and also see your questions. And I wanted to make sure that I had your questions. All right, hold on. I guess the girl who's in the Zoom musical gets the good lighting. I've got to figure out the janky lighting, but we're going to figure it out. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I have my laptop down here and I've got the Facebook group pulled up because you put your questions there. So this is, y'all, if I can build a business, you can build a business, okay? So I can't even get my lighting right. Also, right? Work from home. And literally, Jessie was upstairs. And so all three of my girls are performing arts girls. Jenna was in marching band and color guard. So on any given day when she was here in the house, there was lots of flag flipping and rifle throwing. And Josie was a ballerina. Jessie's of choice, her song and dance of choice is she is large and in charge, and she is belting at any moment in the house. And so just a little bit ago, that's why I'm down here in the basement, because just a little bit ago, she was belting to the high heavens. And I'm like, okay, so we don't need to hear that while we're doing this, while we're having a conversation. So I'll just come down here. So here we are. So I've got your questions pulled up. And if we are not friends yet, let me give you just a quick little background on who I am. So if you are showing up in this Facebook group and you're like, who is this strange girl who has no good lighting and is dropping her phone and all this kind of stuff? My name is Julie Voris. I have been a Beachbody coach for 12 and a half years, of 13 in June. So 6 more months will be 13 years I have been a Beachbody coach. And I'll tell you straight up, this is not just what I do. It is who I am. And people will tell you over and over, oh, you got to have a brand and you got to be separate from Beachbody. And yes, that all that is true. But when I say this is who I am, what I'm talking about is connecting people with fitness and health solutions that work in all ways. That's who I am. So this is not just a side gig for me. This isn't a side hustle. This isn't a passing fancy. Like, this is who I am. This is what I do. And because of that, I am very passionate about this business. I'm very passionate about what it can do in your life. I'm very passionate about what you can do with it, about what you can allow it to do in your life. And I'm also really passionate about telling you the truth. I just don't have to. I've been in the business long enough. I've been in fitness and health for 20 years. I've been a Beachbody coach for 12 and a half. And I've been on the planet for a long time. And I just don't think we have time for BS. I think 2020 has taught us that we cannot take anything for granted, that we just don't know how long we have, and that time passes, whether it's a pandemic year or not. And you have a multi-million-dollar opportunity sitting in your lap, and not taking advantage of it is ridiculous. And you're not going to get this time back. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to answer your questions. So I'm going to kind of be going up and down and up and down and up and down as I look through, because I want to make sure that I answer the ones that, mean the most to you. So let me look. Hold, please, and let me look. And if you've got other questions or you didn't put them in the post that I put in yesterday, please put them here in the comments, and I will get to them. I will see them. So put them in here, and I'm going to check here. And let's see what we got here. Okay. So I also need people to stop messaging me. Okay. So I see a lot of, okay. Here we go. Diving in, baby. We're diving all the way in. Because again, you're in a group led by three veteran, incredible coaches with Joan and Chris and Chelsea. And I'm looking at some of these questions, and the 1K club, from what Chris explained to me, is you want to make $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month. I can't remember if it was a week or a month. So Chelsea, let me know, a week or a month. And regardless of what it is, $1,000 a month, $52,000 a year, right? That 12 months. So $52,000 a year. That's almost twice as much as what I made as a high school English teacher. So that's pretty awesome. $1,000 a week. Is that right? No, $12,000. So $1,000 a month is $12,000. $1,000 a week is $52,000. So my first year as a high school English teacher, I made $16,000. That's a 16,000. And what you can do in this business can so far outweigh that. So that's really cool that you are in this group where the focus is $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month. And if you want to make $1,000 a week, going back to my math, I was an English teacher, not a math teacher, but that's $52,000 a year, which means that's all literally at the highest. When I stopped teaching high school English, it's almost twice as what I would have made as a high school English teacher with a bachelor's degree and hours towards my master's. So in this job, and make no mistake, it's a job. If you think that if you're acting like it's a hobby, then it's paying you like a hobby. This is my job. Thank God I love it as much as I do, because life's too short to not. But this is a job, and we get to do this job drinking a bevy in Lululemon pants and a sweatshirt and talking to people all across the world. And we can make more than someone who had a degree and hours beyond that degree as a profession. You can make more. Drinking your bevy in your Lululemon gear in your basement that still has a hole in the roof from the leak that we haven't quite got fixed yet. Yeah, that's That's what we can do. So I love that you have this goal of $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month, because that tangibleness is so measurable. There's no more of this, I just want to help people. Well, duh, you want to help people. That's why you're a Beachbody coach, right? So I love the tangibleness of it because it's so measurable. It's so measurable. So as I was looking through some of these questions, some of them are super legit, and really legit, like, new coaches getting quick wins, even personal development to a certain extent. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then Chelsea wrote me a big long paragraph. Hold on, let me expand it. Talking about diamonds, getting to 2-star for duplication. So there are some really great tangible questions in here that I'm going to kind of scroll through. But I'm also, when I was looking through these last night and today, it came to me that some of these questions are small-minded questions. I don't have time to play around with you guys, and I don't think you have time to play around either. We're going into a new year, so let's not sugarcoat anything, right? Some of these questions are small-minded questions, and here's what I find. Coaches who are thinking small and playing small are asking questions like, what's your inviting script? What kind of planner do you use? What pencil do you use to write in your planner? What book are you reading right now? Like, these are small-minded, small playing, small thinking questions. So I'm going to tell you a story. My parents had me when they were in their 40s. Now, not a big deal. Then, kind of a big deal. So they had no idea that was happening. And surprise, here I am. So my parents were always so much older than everybody else's parents. And there's a generation, because I have a brother and sister who are twins. We're going to get to why that's important in a minute. Who are twins who were in high school when I was born. So there's this huge generation, which means my mom is in her 90s. I lost my dad 20 years ago. My mom's in her 90s, and she's in an assisted living home. And because of this year and because of COVID, we've seen her once and now twice. We saw her on Sunday, but previous to that, we'd seen her once this year. So we were over there on Sunday, and I have this sister, and she is, there's a plethora of issues with her. I talk about her a lot, and I talk about my mom a lot, because there are people in your life that will inspire you to how you want to be, and there will be people in your life who will show you how you don't want to be, and those can both be family, and it's okay. You don't get to choose your family. So there might be people in your life who are family, who are not, who could inspire you to how you want to be. And might be people in your life who show you how you don't want to live. And for me, it's always kind of been my mom and my sister. Interesting, yeah? So we go over to assisted living on Sunday, and we're visiting with her, and she's talking to me about my sister. And my sister... here's the full story. My sister got pregnant in high school. Okay, cool. Not an awesome, path in high school, but we can recover from that, right? Yeah, we can recover from that, except she didn't. And it's bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and a lifetime mindset of victimhood, which could not be more the antithesis of how I am and how I live. So that's always sort of been this relationship situation, a relationship of enabling and a relationship of victimhood, blah, 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 blah. So my sister had some health issues. She had come home from the hospital. My mom was like, well, and I just sent her a crap ton of Shakeology. I'm like, here's Shakeology. And so I asked my mom on Sunday, like, how's she doing? And she said, well, someone finally took her some food so that she could eat. Point number one, my sister was in high school when I was born. Okay, so she's multiple years older than me, which means she's got more experience than me, theoretically, which means she should be able to figure out that you could get on the intrawebs, as my husband calls them, and freaking have groceries delivered to you, right? Okay, so this is victimhood. This is thinking small. This is thinking small. Then my mom says, well, she's hoping to get better, feel better, because she wants to get back to her job. My sister did not go to college. Could have. Just because you have a baby in high school does not mean you can't go to college, right? Like, that's a decision. So she didn't go to college. So she's got this job at some home good shop thing. I don't know, something here in Indiana. And my mom's like, it's a really good job. She counts the money for the drawers. And sometimes when they work really hard, their boss will buy them lunch, and it's such a good job. And sometimes when they work really hard, they'll get like a $100 bonus. And I'm literally standing socially distanced from my mom as she's telling this story. And she's telling this story with full, authentic belief that this job that my sister works, where her employer occasionally buys her lunch or occasionally gives her a $100 bonus, is an awesome job. I mean, this is a good job, Julie. This is a good job. That's what she's telling me. And I'm kind of standing here like, my mom has no idea what I do. She has no idea what I've built. She never asks about my business. She has absolutely no idea. Although it's fairly obvious that our life has changed exponentially on every level in the last 12 years. I share that story with you because it's a prime example of thinking small. Her employer buys her lunch. It's a $100 bonus. Now listen to me carefully when I tell you that there is nothing wrong with that job, and there's nothing wrong with your employer buying you lunch. There's nothing wrong with a $100 bonus. There are a lot of people for whom that is necessary, and I am not demeaning that job in any way. What I am saying is, to my mom and my sister, that's the equivalent of an amazing job and an amazing life. And what I'm telling you is that is dreaming and playing and thinking and living small. That I have to rely on someone else to tell me that I did a good job and buy me lunch, or that I worked really hard and I get a $100 bonus. I'm telling you this as someone who needed $100 when I started this business. And my dream when I started this business was to buy my Nikes that I used to teach class in. So I'm telling you this as someone who, even though I had a dad who was a little bit of a bigger dreamer, I still grew up in a house with a mom who didn't. She had no goals and dreams at all, and the ones she had were small. And somehow, some way, in this tiny little town that I grew up in, with a cornfield in my backyard, literally, with like 1,200 people in my town and no stoplight then and now, I knew that there was something else out there for me. I didn't know what it was, but I knew there was something else out there for me. You know it too. That's why you're a coach. What you do with that is up to you. I knew there was something else out there for me. I didn't know I was going to be building an online fitness business, because the only thing I saw when I was growing up were women who were teachers or nurses or stay-at-home moms, and very few people left my town. But I knew there was something more. I just didn't know what. So there's something in me telling me that there's more out there, and to dream bigger and to live bigger. But I didn't have a huge example of that in my life. I had a great childhood, make no mistake. I loved growing up in a small town. I loved getting on my bike and riding until it got dark. And I was so safe, and it was so awesome. And I loved it, and it was awesome. But when you get older and you get further along in your personal growth journey, and you kind of put some pieces into place, and certainly now in 2020, we talk more openly about mental health and trauma and all the things that go into making up who we are. When I came into being a coach, my dream was to buy a pair of Nikes. That's how big my dream was. I want to buy a pair of Nikes. When I listened to that story that my mom was telling me about my sister, about how just sometimes I buy her lunch and sometimes it's a $100 bonus, and this is a good job, I thought, wow, that was probably me 12, 13, 14 years ago. Now, I was lucky enough, well, it's never luck, right? Nothing's ever random. That when I got into fitness, when I fell into fitness, literally, when I had a conversation on a blue bench in a Y, and Mary at the YMCA asked me to start teaching group fitness with no experience, and I started teaching, I also found Turbo Kick. And fell in with Chalene Johnson, who's the queen of thinking big. So I started to get that education 20 years ago before Beachbody. And then you come into Beachbody where the culture is personal development. So here's why I'm sharing this with you too. 12 and a half, 13 years ago, when I came in, and I brought in my mindset of maybe not thinking as big as I could, but starting to get that because I'm surrounded by it, which points to how important your community is, which, yes, that you're in this group because your community is everything. And I started to think a little bit bigger and see what I could do with this business. And I remember so clearly the first time, probably 8 or 9 months into the business, when someone said, "What do you want to do with your business?" And I said, "I'm going to take my family back to Disney." That's what I said. Because prior to that, for the 8 months prior to that, it had been, well, I'm going to buy some Nikes. And then all of a sudden, out of my mouth, came, I'm going to take my family back to Disney. That is absolutely the result of the community that I was in, who were dreaming bigger and pushing me to dream bigger as well. But in the beginning, it was, I just want to buy some Nikes. That's it. But listen to me carefully. That was in 2008. When there were no success stories, no one was taking their team on any kind of retreat. I don't even know if people had team names. No one was taking their team on any kind of team retreat. No one was retiring their spouse or sending their kids to college. That was 2008. This is 2020, y'all. This is 2020. About to be 2021. We're heading into 21. Now, one person on this Facebook Live in this group can say, well, gosh, I just don't know what's possible with this business. I just don't know if I can make this business work. Not one person can say that. I give myself a little bit of grace in 2008 for the small dream I had of wanting to buy shoes. Only because when you walk into this business and it's so new, it was so new. We came in and there were just a handful of people ahead of us who'd been doing this for a while. It was so new. You didn't see the success stories. You didn't know the success stories. So I give myself a little bit of grace in that I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know this business could change my life. But I also have to remember, my dream was only to buy tennis shoes? Really? And then 8 or 9 months later, my dream was to take my family back to Disney. And step by step it was, well, I can pay for our groceries. I can pay our mortgage. I can pay for our dance lessons. And 12 and a half years later, it's, oh, I can pay for college too. 3 daughters, 3 college educations, and a whole heck of a lot of debt racked up prior to starting to make some income a few years into this business. So make no mistake, that we're not out of the woods yet, but I've gone from I'd like to buy some shoes to I'd like to buy 3 college tuitions. That's the power of dreaming bigger. So in 2020, you can't say you don't know what's possible anymore. Sorry, you don't get that same grace. You can say, I don't want to work that hard. Go ahead and say that. That's okay. At least that's truthful. But you can't say, I don't know what's possible, or I don't know if this business works. You just can't. You absolutely can say, I don't know if I want to work that hard. But you can't say, well, gosh, I don't know if the business works. There's too many success stories out there now that I didn't have in 2008. You have them now. You have them in the 3 coaches who are leading you. So sorry, you don't get to say that anymore. You know, it's kind of like, I had a new-ish coach say to me, okay, I've messaged everyone. I've run out of all the people that I know. She's been a coach like 2 months, okay? I've run out of all the people I know. And I went, I'm going to say this with love. December 2020, is month 129 in Success Club for me. 129. 129 consecutive months in Success Club for me. It's over 10 consecutive years of Success Club because this is my job. This is what I do. It's not negotiable. This is my job. So guess what? You don't get to say I've run out of people because that doesn't hold water with me, right? So you don't get to say, I don't know if this business works. It just doesn't hold water anymore. It just doesn't. You can say, I don't want to work that hard, but you don't get to say, I don't know if this business works. So I say all of that. I have a lot of context. I have a lot of stories in my head. I've been doing this a long time. I got a lot of stories in my head. I say all that to say some of the questions that you are putting in here are small thinking. Some of the comments that you're putting in here, small thinking. Some of the stuff that you're wanting to know, you're looking for that perfect path, that perfect invite, that perfect script. Ain't nothing perfect in this business or in this life. We're all trying to figure this out. All you need to do is this. Press play every day. Drink a shake every day, and you're energized. Read a book every day and invite people to join you. And if those people are ready and you're coming from an authentic place and you're showing up every single day, not just when you feel like it, but every single day, that's what you do. We don't need a perfect script. The only script that matters is the one that's happening up here. This is the script that matters. You need to press play, drink a shake, read a book, and invite people to join you every single day and tell you why it will change their life like it's changing yours. And if you do that, that's your script. If they're ready, they'll come along. It won't matter what you say. If they're not ready, it won't matter what you say because they're not ready. But someday they will be. And they're going to come to the coach who's been there. I just said this to my team this week. I'm like, here's the thing with this week, this weird, strange Christmas, New Year's black hole of a week. Here's the thing. Someone out there is going to be ready. And they're going to be tired of the quarantine 15. And they're going to be tired of their lack of control. And they're going to crave some structure and community. And they're going to be ready. And if you don't show up, they're going to move on to the person who is. Because they've already got not showing up dialed in. They already know how to do that themselves. They're looking for a coach who will help them show up. And if you decide, it's holiday week, I'm taking it off, or I just don't need to show up today, or I don't know what to post, so I'm just not going to post anything. If you decide that, they're going to find the coach who shows up. Because that's what they need. Because that's what they don't have. They've got kind of, sort of dialed in. They've got inconsistent dialed in. They've got not showing up and not having a plan and not having a community. They got all that. That's what they're living and doing. They're looking for someone who will help them fix that. And the day that you don't show up is the day that they were looking for you. And when you don't show up, they're going to the next coach who is. You don't have an option here, friends. You have found the thing that has changed your life. You don't have an option of if you want to share it or not. Because it would almost be like, oh, I have the cure for cancer, but I'm just not going to share it with people. You would never do that, right? So here's a question for you, and I want you to show me in the comments with some kind of emoji or word or something. How many of you, as you navigated 2020, as you went through the year that was 2020, how many of you found that you navigated that year better because of some part of this business? Whether it was the fitness part, moving your body to keep your mental sanity, the nutrition part and staying on track, the community, the personal development, the income, some part of the business. How many of you know that some part of this business helped you navigate 2020 better in some way? Emoji, a word, a something, put it in the comments. I know there's a lag, so we'll wait just a minute because I know like more than 7 of you. There we go. Come on. How many of you believe you navigated 2020 better because of some part of this business? Some part of it. The fitness, the nutrition, the personal development, the community, the income. Some part of the business helped you navigate 2020 more effectively. Okay, so most of it. I mean, I know for me for sure. So here's the thing. Do you know that, I don't even know how many people are in this group. How many people are in this group? I should have looked. 69. Okay, so the 69, now 70, because I'm in here too. So out of the 70 people in this group, and the 30 plus of you that are on this Facebook Live, say yes. Every part of this business, some part of this business has helped me navigate 2020 more effectively. That's only 70 people in the entire world. That means there are millions of people walking around this planet trying to navigate this year without these tools. Millions of them trying to navigate this year without these tools. And you've just told me that you couldn't have done this year without these tools. And yet there are millions of people out there trying to navigate this year without these tools. So if you think that you don't have a responsibility to be sharing this is not the business for you. Real talk. If you think you have an option out to not share this, if you think you don't have a responsibility and obligation to share this unbelievable gift that we have that has helped us navigate this year, if you think you have an option out of sharing that, this is not the business for you. You need to be a customer. That's okay. I'm going to assume you want to build a business because you're here in this group. That means you need to be sharing. It's not an option anymore. And you need to be sharing relentlessly every single day. Relentlessly. I love that word. Relentlessly. Because it's not going to stop. Because what if someone hadn't shared with you? What if someone hadn't shared with me? Would your life be different? Ours would. I don't even know how we'd pay our bills, let alone be sane. And there are stories in this network of people whose lives would be so completely and utterly different, mine included, without this business. Yours might be one of them. What are we doing keeping this to ourselves? There's no option out here. So now that we've said all of that, and you understand that some of your questions are small questions as a result of small thinking, and that we're done with that, and we're actually leaving that in 2020 and moving into 21 with bigger thinking, and you understand that we have an obligation to be sharing. There's no option out here. Now, let me look at some of these questions and see what I want to answer. And again, if you do have other questions and they're not in here, then just put them in there. Okay. Can you talk to the diamond who feels stuck about why they have to get to 2-star ASAP? Chelsea, can you please type in the comments a little bit more about what you mean by that? Just so I'm clear. I think Kim has a good question. Do you have a regular routine of certain things you do? Okay, but it's a good question and it's a small thinking question because there's a little bit of what's behind this. I'm going to read you the question. Kim, I don't know if you're on here, but this is the question. Do you have a regular routine of certain things that you do on certain days? And if so, what does that look like? So there's a little bit of a small thinking in there. It's the same thought process as asking Stephen King what pen he uses to write his books, and if If I use that pen, I will write a book like Stephen King. So there's a little bit of that in there, but there's also some validity to that in how am I structuring my day. And I think for a lot of females, especially, time management and structure is, it's not a challenge. We just make it a challenge. You're just making it a challenge. So the one piece that I will tell you, because it really doesn't matter how I structure my day, it matters how you structure your day. But I will tell you that the most important part of your day is the morning. And you can tell me all day long you are not a morning person. I call BS on that. The most important part of your day is your morning. Because study after study after study after study after study after study after study will show you that we are much more effective in the morning on every level. So if we can automate our mornings and have an operating system that we step into that eliminates decision making, that frees up our brain for the creative stuff a little bit later. You know, there's a reason why Steve Jobs wore the same thing every single day, because he wanted his brain space for big decisions, not what am I wearing today. You know, so when I get up in the morning, I know exactly what my operating system is when I step into it. When I get up, I know I'm going right into the shower. I know I'm drinking my water. I'm turning on my personal development. I'm getting ready. I'm going downstairs. I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm going downstairs. I know exactly what I'm going to work out. I know what my workout is. Like there's so much I've already automated that my brain does not have to think about, so that when I get questions or opportunities to be creative or that actually need my brain to be thinking, I've got plenty of brain power to do it because I've automated so much. So I think Kim's question is valid to a point of you need to automate and you need to have a routine as long as it's not a rut. But what I do and what you do could be completely different. And as long as it works for you, that's all that matters. People get very confused. Women, I'm talking to you. Women get very confused. Women are always they're either on the defensive or they're looking for permission, or there's just so much baggage that comes along with being female. It's just, this is what it is. And also so much potential. But me telling you exactly what I do does not benefit you if your life is not exactly like my life, if that makes sense. You know, this is my job all day long. If someone asked me how many hours I work, all day. I work all day long. All day. I love what I do. I work really hard at it and I love working hard, and I'm not going to apologize for that anymore. You know, I'm not going to tell you, oh, you can build a multi-million-dollar business in 5 minutes a day. No, you cannot. I've built a multi-million-dollar business and it's more than 5 minutes a day. And I'm okay with that because I love what I do. I love what I do. I love what we get to do every single day, and I love working hard. So it's going to take more than that. But what I do in my day might be different than what you do, because my life probably looks different than what you do. Okay, Chelsea, I will tell you this. Yeah, routine's not ruts. Chelsea, I'll tell you this. This is a hard pill to swallow. Okay, you ready for it? It's a hard pill to swallow. So my husband is a college football coach. He's been a college football coach since birth. But he's been a college football coach forever. It's all he's ever done. And he has always said, not everyone can be the quarterback. For a multitude of reasons. Not everyone has the physical giftedness, but not everyone has the mindset to be the quarterback. It takes a very certain kind of person to quarterback a team. So not everyone can be or wants to be a 2-star, 5-star, 10-star, 15-star. They just don't. Some people are super content with hitting diamond and staying there. And it's not up to us to tell them that their dream is wrong. It's not up to us to tell us that their business goal is wrong. It is incumbent on us to show them the potential and the possibility by doing it ourselves and by breathing that vision into our team. But it's not up to us to tell them that their dream is wrong. For a mom who's got 3 or 4 kids, you know, maybe in elementary school, and she's doing this as a part-time job, and she's a diamond coach, and that's where she is right now, and she doesn't want to get a 2-star, even though you know that would make her life better. That's not where she is right now, and it's not up to us to tell her that that business goal is wrong. That's where she is right now, and who knows that in another season of life, it might be different. It is incumbent on us to model what can happen and to show him how to dream bigger. But their business is their business. It's not our business. You can't put your goals on someone else. You can tell them all day long that you see immense potential in them and they have so much possibility, but at the end of the day, their business is their business. And the biggest gift you can give to them is by building a freaking amazing business yourself so that they can see the potential and possibility. They need to see it in you. Sometimes they just need to see it to believe it. So, okay. I don't need your morning routine. I don't need your morning routine. Deidre, she got her own morning routine. I will tell you, yes, that women always need permission, and we have to stop that. Y'all, here's a quick question for you. In the comments, how many of you, and Chris, I think you're on here too, and I'm kind of talking to you, but I'm mostly talking to the women on this call. How many of you have daughters well, actually sons too, but mostly daughters? If you have a daughter, drop like a little pink heart or something, or just say, raise your hand or something. If you have a daughter, put something in the comments that tells me that you have a daughter. Okay, you do that while I just scroll your questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, keep them coming. If you have a daughter, yeah. You don't need to put their ages. There's no award, although I guess maybe there should be. If you kept them alive for a long time, then maybe you should get an award. Just if you have a daughter or more than one, yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. And I will talk about my personal development too. Here's the deal. Daughters more than boys, although boys need to know this too. Moms, listen to me carefully. You cannot, with a clear conscience, look at your daughters and tell them they can be and do anything in this world, which they can, but you are the voice they're listening to. You cannot, with a clear conscience, with an authentic heart, look at them and tell them that they can be and do anything in this world if you aren't living that too. Period. Now, what you want to accomplish in your life, your dreams might be different from theirs, but if you aren't modeling the fact that you can dream bigger and set big goals and go after them and work hard, and then it's okay to do all those things as a female, you don't get to tell your daughter that she can do that too. And that's exactly the same for your coaches. You can't tell your coaches that they have amazing potential and they can dream big and work hard and set goals and build multi-million-dollar businesses if you aren't doing that too. That's just the truth. So if you want your children and boys too to understand that they are probably going to marry a wife with goals and dreams, or they're going to marry someone, whoever they choose to marry. I should say, I use the male-female relationship since that's the one that I'm in, but whatever relationship they're in, love is love, people, love is love. Whatever relationship they're in, wherever they are, if you want your children to grow up knowing that they can achieve and do anything in life, you have to show that to them. You have to. Don't expect that they're going to get lucky and figure it out on their own, like I did a little bit. Now, I tell you that my mom had no goals and dreams. Still does not. She does not. She thinks a 4-hour a day part-time job is a good job. She doesn't get it. She just doesn't. But on the other hand, I have my dad, who was an engineer. He was a civil engineer. He was in the Navy for 40 years. And because they were older, because, they didn't have to worry about money as much as when they were much younger, they took me everywhere with them. I traveled and traveled and traveled. And so that, even though growing up in a small town, I didn't see a lot of big dreams and big goals. I did see a little bit of the world. I saw almost every state in the United States and saw a lot of Navy bases, a lot of military bases growing up with my dad and my, traveling to those. And so I think that helped me dream a little bigger, even though I couldn't quite get a handle on it until I was a grown up. But you know who's different? My children. My children are different because I dream big and set goals and work hard. And they watch me work through fear of doing that. And they watch me set goals and sometimes not accomplish them and sometimes accomplish them. And they watch me do scary stuff. They've watched me do a podcast this year that frankly makes me really, really nervous to do because I feel like no one's going to listen to it. They have watched me since March. I mean, they know that I teach classes. They've watched me since March teach right here in my basement to serve people because so they've seen me explore new and different and creative ideas. They've watched me have to fight so hard to lead my team to elite. And they've watched other years when it seems to be easy. They're different because of how I am. That means their children will be different. And their children will be different, and their children will be different. And if you want that for your family, you have to start doing that. If you want that for your team, you have to start doing that. No more, zero complaining about, well, I just can't get my coaches to do anything. I call bullshit on that. You need to start doing something. Stop worrying about the planner and the book and the invite script and just start doing the work. And you know what the work is, or you wouldn't be in a Facebook group trying to get to $1,000, either a week or a month. You know what the work is. So let's stop dancing around it and acting like we don't know what the work is. You know what the work is. Let's get about it and let's be doing it so you can, with a clear conscience, look at your children and go, you can do and be anything you want in this world. So you can, with a clear conscience, look at your coaches and say you can be and do anything you want in this world with this business. Okay, let's talk about personal development. And then we'll wrap it up. So you are so sick of me. How long have I been talking? Lord, people, I've been on here like 50 minutes. Are you so done with me right now? I could talk for a long time. Okay, personal development. And then we're going to wrap it up. At any point in time in the United States, there are like 1.6 million books in circulation. Literally, because I'm an English teacher and I'm a reader and I like to know these things. So at any point in time, there are a couple million books in circulation in the United States. At any point in time, there will be a set of like it books in the Beachbody world. Yeah, the books that everyone's reading and everyone's recommending it. And there is some validity to that. There is some, because, gosh, 2020 has shown us really how similar we all are. Yeah. I mean, we go around this world sometimes thinking, well, we're so different. We're not. We're all human beings on this planet that need air and water and love and connection and belonging. And so it makes sense that in this Beachbody community, a lot of us would resonate with some of the same books. But there's a reason why it's called personal development. Because what you need and what resonates with you and what causes you to think and to learn and to question and to assess and to grow and to get better could be different than what resonates with me. That's why it's called personal development. So as people are recommending books and you see the end of the year lists, I did one myself. I want you to take those with, I guess, a grain of salt. And I want you to look at them and go, okay, this person that's recommending these books, have they done what I'd like to do? And if so, then that's a book that you might want to listen to, as far as listen to their recommendation and explore it. But I also want you to know this. Go back to the stat that I gave. There's a couple million books in circulation in the United States at any point in time, which means if you pick up a book and you don't love it and it's not resonating with you at that moment, at that season in your life, put it down. don't keep reading it because it's the thing that everyone's reading. Put it down and go pick up something else and keep putting down and picking up and putting down and picking up until you find the book that speaks to you. And let's say you read 2 books a month in a year and you've got 24 books. Not all 24 books will be books that make your heart sing. Not all. But you'll have a handful that do. And you just keep, it's kind of like why we encourage you to recruit a lot of coaches. Because you're going to recruit a lot of coaches and you're going to have a handful that really want to build the business. So you're going to read a lot of books and you're going to have a handful that really impact you on a deeper level. And you keep reading and you keep reading and you keep reading to find those. And if it doesn't resonate with you at that moment in your life, you put it down and maybe you come back to it. I had to come back to 21 Laws of Leadership a couple times. And when I read it at the end of 2014, that's how long ago I read it. So I'd had it, wasn't doing it. I finally read it at the end of 2014, maybe into 2015. And it was like the game changer for me. Same with Power of Habit. There was another one that was like that too. And I had picked them up and put them down and picked them up and put them down. And when I read them, at the time I was supposed to read them, they changed me. But if I would have forced it, or if I would have read my 10 pages simply to check off the box on my tracker, you're missing the point. Personal development is just that. It is something that develops and causes growth in you personally. So what resonates with you will be different than what resonates with someone else. And if you are reading simply to check off the box on the tracker, you're missing the point. And with millions of books in circulation, you can find something that will resonate with you. And it might be something that no one else has read before, and that's okay. Or it might be the thing that everyone is reading, and that's okay too. I'm a book hoarder, so I tend to, when I find something by an author, I then go buy all the things by that author, and then I hoard them all. Because I was an English teacher, so I love books. I will die surrounded by my children and my dogs and my books, and I will be okay with that, and all my little Disney things, and I'll be okay with that. But just there's just nothing better. Y'all, mask it up and get in your car and go to Barnes & Noble and spend an hour in Barnes & Noble looking at the shelf. My gosh, there's nothing better than a little bit of time in a bookstore, or if you have an independent bookstore, oh my gosh, do that. Don't go to a chain. Go to an independent bookstore. Mask it up. Go to an independent bookstore and spend an hour perusing the shelves to find something that speaks to you, and be willing to spend some money on books more so than something else. Don't go buy your wine. Go buy some books, people. We're in a panty here. So go buy some books and grow yourself while we're still, in this situation. And don't worry about what everyone else is reading. Listen to the recommendations, but also don't get consumed by those recommendations, and know that out of all the books that you read in a year, just a handful will have an impact on you. I have 3 from 2019. I have a couple from this year too. And I read more than 3 books in 2019, but I had 3 that changed my life. I have 1 that I will recommend to the day I die. And that's Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. Truly one of the best leadership books I've ever read. I love things that are wrapped up in story and lessons that, as I'm reading it, make me stop and almost have to catch my breath. It's so powerful. And someone else might read that and be like, I don't get this. And that's okay. That book changed my life. I recommend it to everyone. My entire family has read it. Literally, my entire family has read it. I've given that book out. It's one of those for me. But it's not the only book I read in 2019. So you keep reading and you keep reading and you keep reading. You'll find the ones that connect with you. And when they do, they're magic. They're magic. Books are superpowers. Books are portals. They are magical. You can't fight that. And you can't just read to check the box. Because the thing that will change you the most, the workout's transformative, yes. And the nutrition, of course. But it's the books and the community that's also reading books. It's life-changing. It just is. That's what makes you better. So, okay, that was a lot. That was a lot in an hour. If you've got any other questions or anything that I can answer, I don't know how long your group goes till, but if you want me to come back, maybe you finish tomorrow. Maybe this was just to the end of 2020 or whatever. But I wish you all the best. I wish you the most amazing new year that you create, because it's not going to happen. If it's worth doing on January 1st, it's worth doing today. So I wish you the most amazing new year that you create on purpose, with purpose. I wish you an understanding and an awareness of the potential that's in the business, but more importantly, the potential that's in you. That's what I wish for you most of all, to understand the potential that's in you. Because when you do that, you'll blow your own mind, and never be afraid to blow your own mind. Okay, let me know what else I can do for you. Chelsea, Chris, Joan, thank you for having me. I meant to say that in the beginning. Like, this is such an honor for me to come in and share a little bit of time and space with all of you. Let me just be really transparent with you. Like, when someone says, when you speak on our team call, I literally go, like, really? Me? Seriously. Like, I'm always like, me? You want me to? So it's an honor. It's an honor when someone asks me, and I'm so appreciative, because I don't take it lightly to be in front of your people. And hashtag truth love. When you need some of that, come see JB, because I will give that to you. We just don't have any time to waste on this planet and in this business. Go make a multi-million-dollar business in 2021 and change a whole lot of lives, because that's the only way that you make income, is by making impact. All right? Have a happy, safe new year. 2021 is going to be so much better.